Okay, so my first question is, what are the major technical barriers to mass EV adoption in the developing countries like India?
Okay, so uh, if I talk related to the challenges what uh, this country is facing, or this particularly related when we talk related to the EV, there are multiple challenges, right? So the first challenge is related to the EV is not vehicle, it's an infrastructure, right? So you know that see why the IC engines are running so long into this country or the neighboring countries is because of the infrastructure, right? To run any vehicle, we need fuel. Similarly, for the EV vehicles, we need batteries to be charged. So if I compare the petrol pumps, the refueling stations in India, these are around, if I'm not wrong, these are must be around 90,000 to 1 lakh fuel pumps are there across India. So if I compare the same numbers to the EV charging stations, they are most probably in between 10,000 to 12,000. So that is the one challenge related to the electric vehicle adoption in India. Second thing is like if you go to fuel pump, you can refuel your car or any vehicle maybe in few minutes. Whereas the charging to the battery takes time, right? It depends on which C rating the batteries are being charged. So in terms of consumer, that is the challenge. So if you want to know related to the industry, I can talk about that also.
Okay, okay. Okay, so this you are talking about the both two-wheelers and four-wheelers or only for the four-wheelers?
It's for both. It
It's
could
for
be
both.
a rickshaw also.
But as we see, particularly in India, it is like more of two-wheelers EV you can find in India, but less of four-wheeler EVs people are purchasing. So what would be the reason behind that the two-wheelers are gaining more momentum than the four-wheelers?
So if you look towards the numbers of two-wheelers and three-wheelers as compared to the passenger vehicles, it is not only related to EV, even on the IC engine also, you can see the quite big number difference between the two-wheelers and the four-wheelers. So that's the same trend being followed into the EV industry as well. So if we look at the percentage probable, the percentage between the two-wheelers and the four-wheelers, passenger vehicles, I'm saying, then passenger vehicles are most probably around 10 to 11% only. If I
Mhm.
compare the EV two-wheelers, they are around 50%. So why it is so? In India and in every countries, we count every penny when we are investing. So the cost of the electric vehicles are costlier than the IC engines, right?
Right.
So that's the uh, first challenge when we think about of buying a vehicle in India. So that's a consumer point of view. So
Mhm.
price is the one of the big challenge as of now.
Okay, so and what role does government regulations and incentives are playing in this EV technology choices?
Okay, if I talk related to the government, yes, government have. If I talk related to the positive things, yes, government have tried to see. That they come out with the 2030 vision in starting when they have introduced EV vehicles to the industry, right? As per my understanding, this is quite challenging because before adopting the vehicles that uh, uh, not only the chargers and the vehicles, the ecosystem has to be built, right? So the amount of money which need to be invested as of now it's quite huge for any electric vehicle industries coming up and setting up the things in India. So ecosystem is one of the challenge. So government have tried. They come out with many of the EV schemes, PLIs, and all, which where they have invested a lot. So if I talk related to the challenge and the regulations, there are many aspects. So we need to talk very particularly towards certain things where we need to understand what are the ground realities and the challenges. But in terms of government, yes, they are pushing, they have invested, and they have declared a lot of schemes under which not only the consumers, even though the manufacturers can also take advantage, but still there are many challenges.
Okay, so since we know that EV vehicles are, more costly than the ICE vehicles, so is this because of the supply chain volatility in the motor design, or what is the reason?
So, very basic thing to understand is the number of vehicles are being produced in India. So, if I compare to the ICE engines, the consumers are more. So that's a demand and supply, basically, very simple to understand. So the IC engines demand is still very high as compared to EV vehicles. We consumers have not adopted it. So that's the first difference why there's a huge difference when I try to go buy a normal five-seater vehicle IC engine. I can maybe the it starts maybe 5-6 lakh rupees. If I try to buy the same capacity of vehicle in EV, it minimum starts from maybe like 8 to 9 lakh rupees. So there is a huge gap into it. The basic is the supply and chain demand. Then, secondly, of course, the ecosystem has to be built. If I compare the other countries, their ecosystem is much stronger as well, what we can see in India.
If software-defined architecture, vehicle architecture is changing the traditional automotive design.
So that is what the thing is like. There is a gap to understand it actually.
Mm-hmm.
So as a consumer point of view, they still now they don't know anything about electric vehicles. So if I talk as per my understanding, because HIOKI is working from down the line for many years into this domain, so understanding is slightly better. We know electric vehicle much better. So electric
Mm-hmm.
vehicles are always data-driven vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the thing. The electric vehicles, there is huge contribution related to the softwares. Yes.
Okay, and what industry is doing to in India, especially in India, so that to increase the adoption of EVs?
Okay. So see, we should praise the manufacturers like Tata and Mahindra. They are the Make in India vehicles. You could see the more than 50% of shares have been taken by the Tata and then followed by the rest of the brands. So that's a good part I can see. The one part, the government policy is working towards Make in India, right? So that's a good part we can see when we are talking related to the regulations and the policies. Now, related to this particular thing, okay, it's uh, difficult to answer as of now because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things have been involved into it.
Okay. And what particularly HIOKI is doing, if we talk only about HIOKI?
Okay, so HIOKI, I'll explain in few words. HIOKI is a 90 years old company. They started manufacturing things in 1935. So our core industry in which we do a lot of business is automotive industry. And if I talk related to the electric vehicle, it is having basically three, four components uh, like battery and controller, motor. These are the, we can say, the basic understanding of electric vehicle. So related to this, all these components, HIOKI do give a lot of solutions in supporting towards the production, quality, maintenance, R&D. For all those things, kind of departments, we do supply a lot of different kind of solutions.
Okay, so talking about the battery technology, so what are the advantages and limitations of solid state batteries?
So Uh, see, advantage, yes, it's in terms of using, the using batteries is a way cheaper than in terms of fossil fuel. That that's a we all know the advantage of
Mm.
it, right? Now, related to the lithium and solid state. very simple to understand. Solid states are costly, but the advantage is the energy storage capacity of the solid state is better than the lithium ion.
Okay, so do OEMs also face challenges while integrating the new technologies?
Yes, yes,
What are
because
those challenges? Hmm.
see, of course, whenever there is a new, related to the our IC engines, you can see when we used to have the BS3, BS4 vehicles, they are cheaper, right?
Hmm.
When they comes to the BS6, you can see the drastic price got increased, right? Because they have to uh, go with that strict fuel emission norms, right? So for that, they need to change the technology for lower the emissions, right? So you can see in diesel engines, petrol engines, they become more complex, right? So whenever the new technology comes up, the cost arises. To adopt that technology, there are multiple things need to be changed in terms of production, R&D need to be planned, and then it required a huge amount of cost into it. And the biggest challenge, what I can see in India, is lack of manpower, the technical manpower. That's one of the biggest challenge what our industry is facing as of now.
Okay, so this challenge is what could be the reason behind the challenge the industry is facing? I mean,
Related to.
as a very the challenge you said, no, manpower. So
Mhm.
the technical manpower. So what could be the reason behind it that India is facing this problem,
Right.
apart from having? Hmm.
Yes. So related to the IC engines, I'm comparing this electric vehicles to the IC engines because that is our history, and now the EV would be our future. So we are in
Hmm.
between of it. So I believe
Hmm.
this 1 decade would be a challenging for this industry to people to adopt it. So in India, the means like the electric vehicles, as we talked that it's a new technology, right? In terms of electronics, in terms of power electronics, in terms of chemical, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of what you can say the energy storage devices, in terms of motors. So electric vehicle is a mixture of each and everything actually as of now, right?
Hmm.
So in down the line in our education system, there are no such courses or studies being followed by to work on this domain actually. So that's why the experienced manpower, there are very few people who understand the electric vehicle.
Okay. Okay, so talking about the fast charging, so how are fast charging profiles optimized to balance the charge speed and cell degradation? Because we all know that if we do a lot of fast charging, then the battery will degrade. So how the
Yes.
optimization and balance is being maintained?
Yeah. So see, the fast charging, as per our understanding, is not good for battery. What we
Hmm.
understand as of now, right?
Hmm.
But the thing is, like, it is not.
Oh,
At
okay.
present, what the batteries are being manufactured in India, or I can say the not manufactured, they are basically being assembled. So
Hmm.
manufacturing as still, if we say it's not 100% correct, right? So most of the batteries are being assembled, and the way they are being assembled, the quality they are carrying as of now, and the data being processed inside those
Hmm.
batteries and the BMS, right? Is it do not understand 100% what is the meaning of fast charging, right? As I told you, the electric vehicles are all data driven vehicles. So for
Hmm.
any software guy who is doing the coding for that BMS to understand the fast charging, right? They need to run the test for thousands and thousands of times, right? That particular models or the prototype have to run for lakhs of kilometers, right? So, and then they need to do the cycle of the battery and thousands of times, so that at the end the software person get those data and then according to it, it creates the algorithm for it, right? So it is all data driven vehicle. Down the line, it will make it better, but a lot of research need to be done.
Okay. Okay. So you are saying that fast charging is not degrading the life of the battery.
It is degrading as of now
It is,
for the current batteries what has been assembled in India. Yes, it is degrading.
but in future it might not.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Then I think it will be good for the ecosystem also if it happens. Okay.
Uh, Related to
Mm-hmm,
ecosystem, that is again the part goes to the government.
mm-hmm.
So see, related to the charging means the energy demand will rise a lot, right? So we are
Right.
shifting. You know the how many numbers of vehicles are running on the roads, right? So if it started gradually, if it is gradually shifting from the few IC engines to the EV engines, the power demand will rise a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our grid systems have to be get ready for it. So that's the one area where government has to work. Not means like giving money to the industry. That's the one thing. But
Mm-hmm.
who supplies the power? That's the government, right? They generate it. They regulate it. So that's the one area where the government has to work towards it. And still we can see it means like maybe the tier one, tier two cities are okay. But when
Mm-hmm.
we are talking to the tier three or the rural areas, might be it is very
Mm-hmm.
as of now we can see it is quite challenging to set up those kind of ecosystem to handle
Okay.
such kind of energy search.
Right. Right. I agree to it. So, and also, is there what role the AI and ML is, playing in the maintenance of EV fleets or the health estimation? How AI and ML is involved in EVs? Is it involved right now, or it is like in future? What it is?
See, related to maintenance of electric vehicles, that is what the first thing, the manpower which understand electric vehicles. So you if you see the IC engines, they can be repaired or diagnosed. Every streets are having these service centers, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
can do it. But related to EV, yeah, the still the service centers, the people who are working over to the electric vehicles, they do not understand it. So when we these vehicles are going to the service stations, more or less as of now, what they can do, they either they can diagnose or try to evaluate the degradation on those vehicle. Apart from this, they do not have the understanding of repairing those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
That is also one of the challenge for the adoption of the vehicle or to maintain those vehicles.
Then how the repair is being done if they are not doing it? Like you said, they are diagnosing.
That is what I told.
Mm-hmm.
See, the vehicles are so smartly designed. I work very personally over to many of the vehicles, right? Even though our factory is having most of the brand of vehicles, believe me, uh, we cannot do anything on those vehicles. Cannot, because nowadays these vehicles are software wise are so smart. If you try to do
Mm-hmm.
anything, the vehicle understand about it that you are trying to either work over that particular vehicle. So vehicle goes to the lean mode or to the service mode. Vehicle do not allow you to do anything. So like the thing is like you have seen now in India there are service stations authorized or unauthorized, right? Even if
Mm-hmm.
I talk related to the authorized service stations like Go Macan, sorry, I should not take the name, but there are
Mm-hmm.
third parties service stations, right, which are being partially authorized by the OEMs, right? So uh, the access to the vehicle is very limited actually. So that is what I told you. Uh, Doing and working over those vehicles is very limited. Why so? Uh, as I told you, these vehicles which are already running in the market, this means those designs have been done by running those vehicles a lot, thousands of kilometers, thousands of hours of research, and then the person would be coding for those, creating algorithms, and then again they do the quality checks and all. right? So these vehicles are all data driven vehicles. So this means the vehicle which a consumer have bought by paying a 20 lakh rupees,
Mm.
but actual the cost of the vehicle for that data is way beyond it, right?
Okay.
So no manufacturer want to give their data to any authorized, unauthorized, or to a third party. That is what the
Okay.
area where they have done the research.
Mm-hmm.
How motor controller would be synced together to the battery, how it understands the charging discharging cycle, how the fast charging works for a vehicle and for the rest of the components in the vehicle. That is what the main research area for most of the OEM manufacturers. So
So what
nobody
is
want
the
to
solution to this problem?
government. So government has to come out with a certain regulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they also need to think related to the consumer, right? How this EV market will grow like a ICE engine, right? It could only be done when consumer will start adopting it, right? When the
Right.
numbers are coming up. So the
Mm-hmm.
consumer need to get uh, confident over to the electric vehicle, right? How they
Mm-hmm.
can get the confidence when they are able to run that vehicle and in each and every corner of this country means that service need to be provided by each and every service stations. So government has to come out with these kind of regulations where this data up to certain extent could be shared with third party also,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Then if tomorrow if I start a service center, if I'm not able to do anything, if I'm not able to
Mm-hmm.
answer the consumer what is the issue on his vehicle, then he will never come back to me.
Right, right. And also the range of the electric vehicles is also the problem with the adoption.
But see, as of my understanding, the right now the EV industry is not targeting towards a long range of vehicles. As per still our there is a gap between the industry understanding and the consumer understanding, and as well as the
Mm-hmm.
government understanding as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these manufacturers are only making those vehicles to run inside the cities. They are not making those vehicles to commute in between the one city to another. And again,
Okay.
if they increase the storage capacity inside a vehicle, then of course they need to increase the batteries, right? Which again increase the cost of the vehicle. So that is the area where uh, the
Okay,
solution has
but
to come out.
when we go to the high cost trade also in the vehicles, like for example, there are like 10 to 15 lakhs, then you go to from 20 to 25 or 30 lakhs also. You do not get a large amount of range change,
Hmm.
right? For example, the 10 to 15 is running for 300 kilometers, then it is running for 400 kilometers. So like if one have to travel from one city to other, which is like 500 kilometers, they have to go through one charging session in between. So, what is happening regarding the range in the industry, like to improve it, or what advancements are going on?
Okay, so related to the vehicle cost, it yeah, of course, the motor, the wattage output of a motor and the battery wattage, there is a certain amount of cost. But inside a battery, inside a vehicle, there are certain different things which includes in the cost. You know, these days the vehicles are coming up with a lot of safety features, ADAS, radar systems, the music systems, and the features which they are giving in the vehicle. That also contributes to a lot for the cost of the vehicle. So that's a different story related to that.
Mhm.
So that is what I'm saying. Right now, the industry is only targeting for the tier one cities because
Okay.
they know as of now the consumers from the tier two and tier three cities is not going to adopt these electric vehicles because the consumers in the tier one cities are more as compared to tier two and tier three cities because of the
Hmm.
infrastructure.
Right, right. Okay, so what role do hybrid models play in transition to full electrification? Are they doing anything?
See, we heard maybe 5 6 years back the hybrid system, the government was emphasizing to have the hybrid system.
Mm-hmm.
As per my personal understanding, the India should have the hybrid system for a longer period of time in place of jumping directly toward the EV. So uh, for that, uh, I cannot comment over to the regulation bodies, but
Mm-hmm.
hybrid vehicles, as per my understanding, was far better as compared to the pure electric vehicles.
Okay, so what lightweight materials are preferred for EV chases and why? What materials are being used?
Okay, so lightweight vehicle, lightweight, how to make the vehicle lighter. So in
Mm-hmm.
terms of battery, it's quite difficult because currently the massly produced batteries are the lithium-ion batteries, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a certain amount of weight, which as of now could not be reduced, right? From where we are importing all those cells. So that's the one area I believe the much of the weight reduction could not be done. But in terms of the build quality related to the vehicle, the more strength of uh, uh, steel is already being used, or the much lighter weight of components are already been introduced from long time into the vehicles. So you have seen might be the good brands are already started using the how they are reducing means like in place of coming out with the whole sheet of metal, they have denoted the certain specific points on the vehicle by strengthening that particular part of the vehicle by using a higher grade of material. Uh, the vehicle total overall weight has been reduced. So that's not a new thing in the automotive industry. They are already doing it from long time.
Okay. Okay. Is simulation is also helping to reduce the physical testing time and cost.
Yes, of course. Simulation is one of the crucial part into not only the into the EV in any kind of technology development. Simulation in most of the industries they are already doing from long time.
Okay. So what are the gaps in current testing tools for electric powertrains or the battery systems?
Okay, thanks for asking this question. That's the way the HIOKI give the solution for the
Mm-hmm.
industry. So, related to the powertrain, the major things are your DC-DC distributor controller and the motor. So, the related to the testing of these motors controller, uh, that is first thing is the power electronics. Now, to see, we only understand the world called the efficiency, right? To go toward the higher efficiency, the different higher frequency ICs need to be used, right? That is what I heard the industry sooner or later is going towards that particular ICs called the SIC and GAN, right? So if they go towards those high switching frequencies, SIC and GAN inverters to achieve the uh, your higher efficiency rate inside a vehicle in terms of powertrain, there the cost to test those particular powertrains are a bit costly. So the big industries are able to invest such amount of money. But when we talk related to the two-wheelers and the three-wheelers, right, there the challenging part comes up to have those kind of facility. So that is why we can see the accidents in as compared to the two-wheelers and three-wheelers. In four-wheelers it is less, but two-wheelers and three-wheelers are having more of these kind of
Mm-hmm.
accidents, right, in terms of battery or it could be in terms of powertrain. So they are not following or either not adopting or not investing in terms of maintaining the quality and the
Okay. Okay. So does EV vehicles, since you said that it is almost software driven, so they also do OTA updates?
yes ma'am, yes of course.
Okay, so does that also impact the vehicle service models?
Okay, so that is what it depends on manufacturer to manufacturer.
Okay, so what diagnostic tools are being used to identify the faults in EV powertrain?
Okay, so nowadays the electric vehicles are much smarter as compared to the previous IC engines. Even though the IC engines were also using the multiple ECU and ECMs, but it depends on the cost is being paid by the consumer. But now the EV vehicles are more driven as we talked about. It's more data driven. So the OEMs are having very specific tools for it to diagnose the problems in vehicles. The media software media which on which they do the coding is the CAM, and most of the sensors and the communications can be diagnosed by using those specific tools.
Okay, like without opening it, but you are completely diagnosing the fault in the EV powertrain, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Failure in electric vehicles are how they are different from the failures in the ICE vehicles, if you compare the both.
Okay. So see, the IC engines are more complex engines. They are more
Mhm.
mechanically driven, right? So mechanical parts have their own life of working, right? And those life are been already been defined because they keep on running those mechanical things in their facilities, right? So it's much easy to define those running cycles. It could be any mechanical part of the vehicle. But now the IC engines are easier in terms of component. As I told you, there are few main components as compared to the IC engine. Uh, the motor, the powertrain basically, and the battery, right? So basically, three, four components are there. But those components are more running uh, with the software part. Plus, as per my understanding, powertrain is much robust component of electric vehicle. The most difficult part to maintain and still now the diagnose and on which the industry is working very rigorously is the battery because the lithium ion batteries have their own limitations on which the researchers are working to make it more robust to work in those kind of different environment and load conditions.
O- Okay, is it possible that in the coming future the battery material will be changing some, lithium ion batteries to something else?
It's industry is already working on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
industry is also already.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As you told me that there is, lack of, training, and also what type of trainings are essential for EV technicians?
Okay. So the EV technicians need to understand the basic of electrical as well as the electronics to perform even the safety testings onto the vehicles. Even it is not only related to the vehicle itself. Even what I have seen, they even don't know because it's an electric vehicle, right? The battery is always supplying power to the vehicle, right? So those basic trainings to make the environment safe when they are working that even those trainings need to be given to the those people who are trying to maintain the vehicle. So uh, so there are multiple different organizations as well as the standards, right, over which the trainings need to be conducted towards those kind of technicians that and what specific tools need to be used to safeguard themselves as well as to diagnose the vehicle completely. So on a HIOKI website, we have shown how to do it, how to make the environment safe, and then how point by point they can diagnose the vehicle and come to know what would be the problem area.
Okay, so Talking about the battery recycling, so what are the current challenges in enforcing battery recycling regulations?
That's not only a difficult for me to answer that question, that is
Mm-hmm.
also difficult for the industry also to understand the recycling of the battery also. So recycling could be done in two different ways, right? Recycling of a battery pack or the recycling of a cell, right? Recycling of a battery pack could be easy for a company who understand the architecture of the battery pack, but it also depends how the battery pack is being made. So I cannot take a name of a company who do the battery assembling. So before putting the full cells stack to the complete casing of a battery, they put a epoxy inside, which get hardened after a few minutes. So if there is a company who try to recycle that battery pack, cannot do it, because if they try to break that epoxy, the whole battery pack got broke, and then it is dangerous too if any short circuit happens, right? So those are the challenges related to the battery recycling. But battery pack recycling is slightly easy. Means like we can take the big battery packs from the vehicles, right, which have gone down to a certain SOC level or SOH level, and then we can take out those batteries, take out the cells which gone down to a certain extent, and then by using those cells we can make these small demanding things which can run over it, like the mailing robots, the push and pull robots, the lawn movers, right, like the carts you have seen. We can take out the battery and can build for a e-rickshaw. So
Mm.
those are the areas where a pack could be recycled. But related to the cell recycling, it is still part of research.
Okay, so in your opinion, how can public and private sectors collaborate to localize the EV technology?
It has to start from the roots, actually. So the public and private industry or government first need to educate or need to come out with a engineers who are very specifically trained over these kind of technology, right, to adopt this technology or to flourish this technology itself in India. Otherwise we would be dependent highly on the other countries. That's a first, I believe that's a very major and the first challenge which our government also recognize it. So they are trying to fund many of these uh, universities and the colleges where the students can learn more about these electric vehicles. I must say, even the government is pushing a huge amount of funds, even towards the polytechnic level of colleges as well, to very remote areas also. So that's our first challenge, which the public and private or the government sector can work together. Second is, which is completely governed by the government, is the power sector, where they have to work for the high power demand when we are going towards the more and more charging stations. Then, related to this ecosystem and infrastructure, the government is pushing to come out with the new startups, right? They are giving, there are many multiple schemes under which the new startups toward this technology or the production or assembling need to be done. That is where the citizens of India need to take advantage of it, and then we have to come out with these kind of new setups, make in India setups. And then the as a consumer point of view, we also need to understand that we have to contribute for the sustainable society and this environment. It's also our equal responsibility to make it more cleaner and cleaner for our future.
Okay, so what role do standards play in ensuring safety, and how the standards are they being followed or not? I mean, by the. Mhm.
Okay. So, as per my understanding, the standards in India are not
Mhm.
enough in terms of giving you the safe or the high quality vehicles. See, uh, if you and me are traveling inside a vehicle, right? It could be a bus, it could be a two wheeler, it could be four wheeler. It has to be safe, right? It has to be safe not only while the accident happens, right? It has to be safe while we are running on a road, right? We have seen the accidents. There was no collision, right? But still, the vehicle got the fire and all those things, right? Why is it so? Because those standards are not strict, right? Those regulations are not strict, very specifically towards the three wheeler and the two wheeler. Those regulations need to be more strict. Now, the vice versa things comes to this part is if there are very strict norms and regulations, does really people can invest money onto it? You know, means like if the standards become very strict, means like they have to come out with a high quality of vehicle, right? So, and then they have to face the competition, and then they have to look for the consumers as well, right? If the similar vehicle with a specific norms comes with a cost of 10 lakh rupees, maybe the similar vehicle with the strict norms would be like 12 to 15 lakh rupees, right? So that is the thing which work hand in hand, and then government has to look towards that also, and then it is equally responsibility of the OEM as well.
So, talking about the AC and DC charging, so when comparing both AC and DC charging from the hardware and control perspective, so what are
Mhm.
the advantages and disadvantages of both of them?
Okay, thanks for asking this question. Related to very recently, I had a conversation with the government people and as well as the what do you call say the research facilities in India, and they understood this issue uh, in India, which I told you, like the ecosystem, the infrastructure, things need to be made to adopt. So, see, related to the AC and DC charger, uh, the thing is like the OEM as well as the government has to make a clear strategy actually, right? So it depends. Means like they need to have even now the researchers and the other OEMs already working toward the wireless charging as well, right? Even they are working towards the dynamic charging also. Means like if the vehicle is running on a specific parts, like I heard a few times back that the buses, the city buses, they run on a specific path. So while running, those vehicles could be charged. Maybe you heard, you have already seen this thing is being adopted in Europe also, right?
The dynamic
So
charging,
related,
right?
what man?
The wireless charging or the dynamic charging?
See, while the vehicle is running, what Europe have done, they have laid the overhead cables. Like you have seen in the
Okay.
trains. Yes, in the
Mm-hmm.
trains, while the train is running, there's a rod which touch that wire and keep on running on it. So for the trucks, they have made on a specific route, they have made those overhead cables by which the trucks, the buses could be charged, and then they can travel for a longer distance. So, see, it works in both the areas. As for my understanding, when we are talking related to our domestic chargers, means like our in-house chargers, the AC is much safer, right? But it takes more time, right? When we talk related to this DC chargers, it consumes maybe like one tenth of the time of to charge the similar capacity of the battery. Those could be adopted in terms of commercial charges, mainly on the highways, right? So that is what the government and OEMs or the private sector need to understand which application needs which kind of charging stations. So I believe AC and DC chargers both are okay, but it depends on the application wise.
So since you talked about the wireless charging, so
Mm.
what are the key challenges in real world implementation of wireless charging?
Efficiency. So of course, in wireless charging, the efficiency drops because there is no physical contact. To go towards the high efficiency one means like they have to increase the frequency. Means the components which need to be used onto those converters would be more costly.
Okay, so what are the main challenges in automated battery pack assembly at scale?
See, related to the production of automated lines, it's not a challenge because the automation is not a new thing in India.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have seen in terms of production, many of the factories have already adopted the AI system, which can predict and guide for the future, right? So now many of the factories which are working on those production areas and using the new technologies of the AI and all, they know how, or they have built their factories for the future goal enhancements.
Okay, so thermal management is very important when we talk about EV batteries, right? So,
Yes.
what different cooling strategies are manufacturers using for EV battery packs to make sure that it does not catch fire or something?
So see, the thing is like now we need to understand the thermal runaway concept and the cooling system for the battery. Basically, the cooling system, either it could be IC engine or it could be EV vehicle. The cooling system, right, is need to be built to make the vehicle keep on running, right? That's a main part of that cooling system to create the adequate amount of environment so that battery keeps on running more efficiently and to have a more longer life. That is the main criteria to build the cooling system for those big power capacities, right? Now the thermal runaway is a different concept. The thermal runaway basically happens because of the quality defects. So quality defect could be the poor quality itself of the cells, the poor weld or soldering qualities of the battery packs, the poor understanding of a BMS, how to make the balance within the series of cells, or it could be a poor quality of assembling where the vehicles, you know, the conditions of the roads in India, you know, the temperature variations in the continent of India, right? So the battery pack itself need to be tested according and need to be maintained such quality how it can come out with the standards and regulations, most strict and strict regulations.
Okay, so anything which is coming any trend which is coming in automotive, EV automotive system, which you want to share? Like you said that many research is going on and something we can see in future.
So as per our customer understanding, market understanding, we are working very closely with many of the big brands and the smaller brands in India and the other globes also, because HIOKI is a global company. We have many subsidiaries and sales offices around the globe. So you name any big brands like Tesla and all of the BYDs and the our the Make in India brands like Tata and Mahindra. We are working very closely with them. So I can see the quality improvement in terms of vehicles, right? Now, we have seen the vehicles in the facilities of these manufacturers. They have already made very futuristic vehicles. They already have the technologies in terms of powertrain, BMS, batteries, and the other components of the vehicles. So the technology wise, As per my understanding, in terms of vehicle wise, the technology is already there. All they have already built it. The only challenge part is the infrastructure ecosystem and the current geopolitical scenario which is going on in the globe. That is the only challenging part. In terms of technology, as per my understanding, India is doing good.
Okay, okay, Deepak ji, I think I'm done with all my questions. So,
Yeah.
thank you for your time and sharing such a valuable information with us. Okay,
Okay.
thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.